We'll just
Yeah,
hop in. It's wonderful to meet you. Thank you so
yeah.
much for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So let's begin our journey. My first question is always COVID. 6 years ago, it changed our lives. You kind of touched on what was going on then. Give me an idea of how you survived that time period and how it's affected the way that you live and do things today.
That's actually such a great question. I was just reflecting on this not too long ago, because of just some different things of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
2020 was that time frame was hard for a multitude of reasons. We just before that all happened, my son was actually living in Ecuador at the time. He was doing a gap year program, so he was abroad. And this was kind of like all like brewing in the news, and we weren't quite sure what was going to happen. And so we were like trying to figure out how to extract him from another country. Our home was on the market, and so it had sold. And we were in this dynamic of we needed to move. And like it felt like the outside world, the external world was just kind of like blowing up around us. There were all these weird things happening like in society.
Mhm.
And so I actually felt like that time frame really impacted me personally, in my business, what I was doing at the time in my career, where we were living, just my environment, and then just all of the external, dynamics of the world at the time. And so I would say during that time, I definitely took a dip personally, and my mental health was just like a little bit overwhelmed, and the nervous system was a little bit hijacked during that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It was just there was a lot of unknowns, and I personally am, I have a plan for a plan for a plan, and so just during that time, it felt very disruptive,
Yeah.
in so many different ways. So yeah.
Yeah, and the weird thing about that time is it wasn't like one or two or three things was turned upside down. It was like the snow globe was turned upside down, violently shaken up, thrown and broken. Like it was
Totally.
just everything changed. There wasn't like one thing that you could be like, well, at least that didn't change.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's kind of almost hard to like answer that question
Yeah.
because I feel like everything changed
Hmm.
during that time, and even to the sense, just the timing of it for me personally was like a new house, a new city, a new all these like weird things of that dynamic were also kind of taking place during that time. So it was a weird, challenging,
Uh-huh.
very disruptive, and crazy time.
It certainly was. So
Mhm.
let's synthesize all of these talents that you have from the culinary part to the business to the speaking to the writing. I'm going to put you in front of 13-year-olds. It's career day, and the kid in the back of the room wants you to synthesize what you do on a daily basis to make it make sense to his brain. What do you tell that kid?
I tell that kid that I am a business wellness integrator. I have a lot of experience working inside of businesses and growing them into big, successful places, but doing that without sacrificing the well-being of the individuals that are contributing to the success of said business. So hopefully a 13-year-old would understand that a
Yeah,
little bit and
yeah.
have some good questions for me. But that's the best way I would describe myself in a simplified way.
So when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? What was your
Oh.
dream job? What did you want to do?
I wanted to be a journalist.
Okay.
That was the plan. I ended up not being a journalist and actually having a very successful 32-year career in the dental industry.
Okay.
And then just through passion projects and the nature of my life, was very, very interested in wellness and healing modalities. So I've always been involved in, yoga and cooking classes that are, healthy whole foods, just, the wellness space. And so those two intersected
Yeah.
later here in my life. But at, 18 years old, I had plans to, I was moving out of my parents' home for the first time,
Uh-huh.
getting ready for college, and then I had a huge tragedy happen in my life, in my home at 19 years old. just before school was to begin. And that redirected everything for me. So,
Do you look back on that and think it was a godsend that you didn't get into that? Because wellness and good diet is not a part of a journalistic lifestyle.
not at all.
No.
Not at all. I mean, of course, I think that I'm going to be 50 years old soon, and I think that what I think about in that space and just the redirection of like the initial idea or the initial dream or vision, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. We all are, we really are. And I think it's when you sort of come to that realization and acceptance, it changes everything.
Certainly does. So take me back to your beginnings. What was it about journalism early on? Like, who were you looking up to, and how did you eventually get to this point where your life evolved to this culinary wellness perspective that you have as a business strategist?
Yeah, I love that. You're gonna laugh at my answer, but I freaking loved Oprah, man. Like
Sure.
that's
Of
such a
course, everybody,
queen.
yeah.
Like I love her. And just I think so who I looked up to was her. Like I thought she was amazing. I loved her story.
Hmm.
Her story really resonated. And so I think that she would be like the person that I was like, but for me personally, like I was just really drawn to writing and I mean the dynamic of collecting story and sharing information was something that sort of lit me up. I now know that the way that I can express that is different
Yeah.
than, that 18, 19-year-old person, version of me was sort of thinking about. But yeah, I feel like I am that vision or idea or
Sure.
dream now,
Yeah.
just in a different way, just in the way that it
Sure.
was supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah. So who's been your hero? Who's been that inspirational force that's allowed you to navigate and evolve to where you're at professionally today?
Man, I that's a really difficult. I have a lot of people
Yeah.
that I feel have had their hands at my back that have inspired me to kind of keep going. You look at sort of my journey, and um, when I first started my career, would not have expected that I would have ended up here. On
Yeah.
paper, I shouldn't be where I am
Yeah.
today. And it's because of some really incredible people that were around me during, this time of growth. I would say there's, an individual who I don't talk about very often, but her name is Leanne. And Leanne gave me sort of what I would consider my first big break out of a place that I thought I would have to stay in for my entire career. She broke my ceiling. She helped me come through. And I'll never forget the day that she reached out to me and, said, hey, come work with our company. I had an actual like outward reaction of like excitement and screaming, like, so excited,
Yeah.
So that was really, really meaningful. And I always really admired her and how she showed up in her work. So, she sticks out in my mind. And then, I have some interesting family members, ancestors that, I just kind of tip my hat to that I remember and hold inside of my heart space whenever
Yeah.
I'm, pushing through something big or whatnot. So, but
Yeah.
there's so
Oh
many
yeah.
people.
Yeah, for sure. So in the culinary realm and the wellness realm, if you could meet one person alive today that you admire, have a lunch, talk to them that might help you on your journey. Is there anyone on the planet that you find fascinating that you would love to talk to?
Um, there's again, I mean, gosh, could it be like one big giant
R
table?
Round table. Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, well, there's some people that I actually have had the opportunity to sit with and actually be on this journey. My wellness journey comes from an unhealthy place, which is funny. And so one of the people that comes to mind is nobody famous yet
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
But her name is Kelly Burns, and she makes health and wellness and food feel different. The person that I would love to have dinner with that I have never spent alone time with is a woman named Rosemary Gladstar. And Rosemary Gladstar is sort of like the OG of the herbalist world. So I'm a clinical herbalist, and I use my clinical herbalism expertise and knowledge in the culinary space. So I like to make herbal preparations or, medicine with plants
Yeah.
and feed them to you in a delicious meal on a beautiful table.
Yeah.
And Rosemary Gladstar, she just is I don't even think sometimes she's real. Like she seems like this like fake, but she's so genuine and sweet and this beautiful older woman who just embodies like peace, I
Yeah.
think. So she just feels good to be around.
Yeah.
So I'd love to pick her brain at a dinner table for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So the weird thing, we're in the same age range, and we have all these different options of living our lives in a healthier way, eating healthier, doing things for our body, for our minds that are so much vastly different from being kids of the 80s. But
Mm.
there's still such an unhealthy portion of our world that's eating foods that are horrific all the time, that don't work out, that don't do things. There's this divide. It's like in Kansas City, there's truce, there's east and west, right?
Yeah.
How did we get here? How have we not found a gray area in
I
between
know.
these disparaging worlds from your estimation?
Oh gosh. Yeah, well, I think for one, like just from my vantage point and the things that I've spent some time studying and developing a skill set and even a business around is that we've let go of sort of the ancient wisdom of wellness and like the old just simplifying how we look at being well. And it really isn't that like we do overcomplicate it, I think. And that's just been because we're exposed to all kinds of information today
Yeah,
where and we're moving faster than we ever have before. So convenience foods play a huge role in our lifestyles, but also in the economy. That's a
yeah,
huge business. And so I think that we've just sort of lost track of, and I'm guilty, there's very few times in my life where I just had like one job. For me, I've been working my tail off in multiple facets, raising children on my own, and just, navigating this, crazy pace myself.
yeah.
And just some of the simplest things that keep you well are at our fingertips all the time,
Hmm.
but we've disconnected from them. So I feel like we've disconnected from this just like ancient, like simplified idea of being well,
Yep,
which includes just like sometimes it just means taking a hot minute and spending some time with the thing that gives you life every day, which is your breath.
yes,
Just take a minute and take some breaths,
yeah,
or brew a beautiful cup of tea in
yeah,
the afternoon that's specific and intentional to what it is that your body's asking for in that
hmm,
moment. Like these are not hard things,
yep,
but we've detached from them because we're so busy and we've been exposed to something else that might give you energy in the afternoon.
yeah.
Maybe isn't so healthy for you. So, yeah.
Totally. I would imagine a part of your success is a learning curve. You have to stay up on what's going on. You have to continually learn and evolve. Is that something that you've embraced and you look forward to?
Oh my gosh, it's funny that you say that. Yes, it is. So hard yes, hard stop. Yes,
Yeah,
I am actually genuinely trying to build a lifestyle that allows me to lead and still grow and teach and still learn.
yeah,
So I don't think I will ever disconnect or dismantle space in my life to be in some kind of learning mode. I'm always in some school. Like I'm doing right now, currently, I'm in a nutritionist program. So I'm working towards that. And then I'm also doing an additional clinical year of herbalism. And so I don't know. I think for me, it feels I want this thing, this ticker to keep going up
Uh-huh.
here.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just also very curious.
Yeah. So what is the motivation every day when that alarm clock goes off, feet hit the ground, you have business, you have your soul, you have all of these things, learning curves, doing it well. What is that energy for you every day to do this well at a high level?
My motivator every day is comes from a space of gratitude that I'm really, really, really grateful for the life that I have today.
Yeah.
And I've worked really hard to get here. So I think my motivator is like, look where you are now, Sam, and look where you've come from. And you can do anything you want because you will preserve this lifestyle that you've created. So that's I mean, I say that to myself multiple times throughout the day, especially when it feels like how the hell am I supposed to get all the rest of this stuff done today? Like this is insane. Like who can take this to-do list?
Yeah.
But it's that message that I remind myself that this is the lifestyle that you wanted, and don't forget what it used to feel like. And so that's motivation to keep me going enough.
I like it. So let me ask you this. Let's motivate people in the 816 and 913.
Hey, what's up,
Okay? That's
816-913?
it. And let's motivate the rest of the world to come in. Let me ask you this. What is one of the healthiest, best guilty pleasure places that you go to eat in this area?
I so this is credit to my daughter Savannah, shout
Okay.
out Savannah,
Yeah.
who introduced me to this lovely little place called Billy's Grocery.
Okay.
Have we heard of this
I
place?
have not heard of it.
Hey, it's amazing. And I will also just tell in the 816-913 area that if you are celiac, and you are highly allergic to gluten, this is your place. They have a
Okay.
separate kitchen cooking space for gluten-free individuals, high allergy individuals, and their food it feels as if you are eating, the stuff that makes you feel guilty
Yeah,
and gut heavy.
that's
But it's
awesome.
it's one of my favorites.
Okay, that's perfect. And I will make sure to put that in the show notes for everybody so they
Yeah,
can
check it
click
out.
on.
Billy's
Yeah.
Grocery is so good. They have a couple locations too, so you can kind of hit it from a
Okay.
couple different sides. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Okay, so let me ask you this. When you think about the word retirement, when that big, huge word comes up in your head, what do you think about?
Well, I have my beautiful lake house and I have my RV van, and what I think about is freedom.
Yeah,
I think about mobility and freedom and writing. I'll be releasing my first book in April. That is a cookbook, which is not just a cookbook. I'll talk about that later if you'll let me.
sure.
Um, but I see myself really leaning into that space in
Yeah.
retirement. I will fully transition to being a writer at that point in my life.
So let's hop in. I was wanting to talk to you about this. Give me an idea of how the idea came about, how long it took, what you wanted to put into it, what you want the reader to get out of it.
Oh my gosh, I love this. So, the first book that I started writing, this book
Yeah,
that I started writing
yeah,
started off as like a memoir.
yeah,
And then I was like, I'm not sure that I'm ready to tell all of my story
yeah.
yet.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I feel very exposed right now.
Hmm.
So I started thinking at the same time I was in herbal school and I was developing my materia medica, which essentially, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's like your formulations book. It's like this book of things that you're formulating with herbs, you're treating people or conditions inside of people, and you're kind of studying what happens. And so I was building this materia medica, and what I noticed when I was building my materia, or actually what my teacher noticed when I was building the materia medica was that I was writing it like a recipe. Like I was doing a lot of things with food just very naturally. So these two things were kind of happening at the same time. And it just kind of dawned on me like, I'm not really a clinical herbalist. I'm a culinary herbalist. Yes, I'm treating conditions of the body, but through food.
Yeah.
And so I decided to just jump from there. So really, the cookbook is in part like excerpts from my Materia Medica and my memoir. I decided I didn't want to just write a cookbook of recipes. I wanted to tell a few stories. I
Yeah.
also wanted to help the reader become a little simplest herbalist at home. I want
Yeah.
you to be able to have a home apothecary that when you feel stuffy in your nose, you know what you can cook for dinner tonight to maybe feel a little bit better. Or if you're dealing with, high blood pressure, what are some foods that you can eat that actually help with that? If you have a lot of inflammation, all of that. So my recipes are designed for real life things that we're dealing with in our bodies through delicious foods, with some storytelling and some tips and tools and resources for you to build your own healthy apothecary in your home.
The one thing about writing your life story is there's a part of it that's got to be cathartic if you get that story out. Does it feel like you're hitting a few different kind of bullseyes with this? You're getting your part out as an herbalist and your culinary part, but you're also telling your story. Do you feel like you have a well-rounded kind of product that you're going to put out?
I do. I also feel like this was the door to open my like the courage door to open my desire to maybe keep writing and deepen a reader's knowing about me and my lifestyle, the lifestyle that I'm offering to others, and my story, which is an interesting one.
So let me ask you this. If you ran into that 18-year-old version of you in a dream tonight, ready to go out and have a journalistic career, and you walked up and there was a film projector and you hit play and that young version of you watched a 60-second highlight reel of your life happening, would that young version of you believe that your life happened this way?
I think that she would believe
Okay.
in it, but she wouldn't believe how it happened. I
Yeah.
think that she would believe in the result, but I don't think that she would believe in how it unfolded. Um, I think she would have a surprised belief in the result, I
Yeah.
should a surprised belief because she's still that 18-year-old version, she's still with me.
Sure.
I don't know if you've heard of family systems or parts work. I've done some of that, and it's interesting. So that 18-year-old, she's still very much
Yeah.
a voice inside that
Uh-huh.
still
Yeah.
exists. And there's a part of her that is, doesn't have the same level of confidence or stability. For sure confidence that I do today. And
Yeah.
so I think she would be surprised, but she would believe in this result.
Yeah. So let me
Yeah.
ask you this, of everything that's happened, everything that has become you today, what are you ultimately the proudest of?
My children,
Yeah.
hands down, they are good, cool ass people.
Nice.
And they're doing their thing in life. I have a beautiful, amazing relationship with them. They have been my greatest teachers. I have learned leadership. I've learned business. I have learned how to teach and educate. I have learned everything from my children. They have been my guinea pigs, and they're amazing. So I am the most proud of being a mother who has also started two successful businesses, worked many jobs at a time, and held a lot during that journey as a mom. I was a very young mom too.
Yeah.
So hands down, my children.
So, Samantha, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, everyone in a business sense, everyone that knows you in every kind of sense, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I run the show.
There you go. It's,
But I do it in a way that's very heart-centered. And I think that I have learned how to create spaces where I run the show, but I don't do that alone. And I think that people who know me would tell you the same, that I create spaces where people also lead right alongside with me because I know hands down I am not the smartest person in the room, and I don't ever want to actually hold that burden. So yeah.
All right. So if anybody wants to pre-order Stirred by Earth, they want to reach out, any of the good business in your world, where's the best place to go?
Come find me on my website. I have two websites, but you can visit my book website is stirredbyearth.com. My business website, so I have the two businesses, that's Cre8Wise.com.
Mhm.
And find me on social media.
Okay.
I'm very active. I do have a Facebook group where I share a lot of recipes and wellness tips and all that kind of good jazz. But find me on social media. I'm mostly active on Facebook because I'm almost 50, so that's where
That's
I live.
that's it.
Hey, sorry, I'll try Instagram, guys. I'm trying. Somebody teach me,
Uh-huh.
right?
Absolutely. Well, I will put all these links in the show notes. Good luck with the book launch. It was
Thank you.
so great to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me today. I love
Yeah.
seeing the 816913. I
Telling you,
love it.
it's rare. I love it. It's great. Thank you so much.